Welcome to clickmyproject.com. Let's discuss the project about motion-based unusual event detection in human crowds. Analyzing human crowds is an important issue in video surveillance and is a challenging task due to the nature of non-rigid shapes. Most related works focus on the analysis of activities induced by some individuals or interaction between them. However, the events induced by the interactions between crowds are also extremely important, since the abnormal behaviors of crowds would usually result in or represent some massive damages. To solve this problem, the first issue is to appropriately model individual crowds. Moreover, the behavior of the interaction between crowds have to be well characterized. Therefore, in this work, optical flows are first estimated and then are used for the clue to cluster human crowds into groups in an unsupervised manner using our proposed clustering method. While the clustering of human crowds are obtained, the features such as orientation, position, and crowd size are characterized by a model of force field. Finally, we can predict the behavior of human crowds based on the model and then detect if any anomalies of human crowds present in the scene. Now let us see the view on the data flow diagram. First we load our input video in AVI format, and the next step is frame conversion. Loaded video or converted it into frames, and the next step is finding optical flow. To estimate the optical flow, we employ the Lucas-Kennard algorithm, which has been proved to effectively produce the result of dense flows in video sequences. Similar to the LK algorithm, reliable corresponding points in the current frame ft and the next frame ft plus 1 are first computed. The optical flows can thus be obtained by connecting the set of corresponding points. And the next step is finding AMC, adjacency matrix based clustering, to detect abnormal events among crowds using the force field model. The larger the size of the denser of clusters, the more representative there are. Therefore, to achieve this aim, a so-called adjacency matrix based clustering is proposed to further group the set of preliminary clusters G is equal to Z1, Z2, etc. Gn, where Gj is equal to Pi, etc. Pn. And the next step is force field. Human crowd modeling is the first step, and the prediction and detection of unusual events is the second step. In our first step, assume that the clusters H is equal to H1, H2, etc. Hn are the ones obtained using the AMC algorithm. The dominant force Pfj of the clusters Hj in frame T can be computed by formula given in the base paper. Using the force field to model human crowds, the motion trend for each crowd can be estimated, and accordingly the dynamics of the interactions among crowds can be predicted. It can be observed that the crowd at the left bottom has the largest force among these three crowds. That means the crowd would move towards the direction with a relatively high possibility. And the next step is modeling crowds using the force field can provide the information of the orientation and the force of each crowd. The quantization orientation AFJ of the force Pfj can be computed by equations given on our base paper. Based on these features, the unusual crowd events are defined as the orientation of a crowd is abruptly changed, or the one that after interaction among crowds is not similar to the predicted value. Therefore, if a new orientation AFG suddenly appears, the unusual event is considered occurred. And then finally finding the abnormal activities. Now let us see the execution of the program. First, select main1.m file and click run file. This is a MATLAB guide window designed for motion-based unusual event detection in human crowds. First, we load our input video. We can select any one of this. Now I select this. The video is in AVI format. We read with the help of AVI read function and play with the help of movie function. The whole video are played now. This is our original video. And the next step is convert to frames. Loaded video or converted it into frames. Each frames are displayed with the help of subplot function. And the next step is finding motion vector. To estimate the optical flow, we employ the Lucas scanner algorithm, which has been proved to effectively produce the results of dense flows in video sequences. Similar to the LK algorithm, reliable corresponding points in the current frame FT and the next frame FT plus 1 are first computed. The optical flows can thus be obtained by connecting the set of corresponding points. And the next step is finding the feature points with the help of AMC algorithm. To detect abnormal event among crowds using the force field model, the larger the size of the denser of clusters, the more representative there are. Therefore, to achieve these aims, a so-called adjacency matrix based clustering is proposed to further group the set of preliminary clusters G is equal to G1, G2, etc. Gn, where Gj is equal to Pi, etc. Pn. And features are extracted on all our frames, and extracted feature values are arranged here. And the next step is clusters in our human crowd. Finding with the help of force field model, human crowds modeling. The dominant force Pfj of a cluster Hj in frame T can be computed by formula given in the base paper. The clusters are marked in the red box, each having the same optical flow. In the red box contains same optical flow crowds. Clusters are identified in each frames, and then when the abnormal event is detected with the help of AMC, the whole frame are covered in that yellow box. In our proposed work, a novel approach for abnormal event of crowds has been proposed. Optical flows are first estimated and then used for a clue to cluster human crowds into groups in unsupervised manner using our proposed AMC algorithm. While the cluster of human crowds are obtained, their features such as orientation and position are characterized by the model of force field. Finally, we can predict the behaviors of human crowds based on the model and then detect if any anomalies of human crowds present in the scene. Experiment results obtained by using extensive dataset have shown that our system is effective in detect unusual events for uncontrolled environment of surveillance videos. Thank you.